Oh, Kyle Larson dominates again. We have some post-race controversy, and we're moving on to the round of 8.
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.
Hey, it is Monday, October 14th. Welcome into NASCAR Daily. I'm Shannon Spake. Let me tell you, the city of Charlotte was showing off this weekend. What a great weekend for racing out there at the Roval. I was there yesterday. I will share some of those pictures coming up in Best Day Ever. Plus, we're going to hear from Kyle Larson on his dominating win again, another one in the playoffs, but good for him. That team is just, oof, they're so much fun to watch. But first, let's get you caught up on some news that broke after the race, after post-race inspection, that is. So if you went to bed before all this came out and you're a Joey Logano fan, well then congratulations. As of now, you're in the round of 8. And if you're an Alex Bowman fan, well, I hate to break the news to you, but he failed post-race inspection. So the 48 car did not meet necessary weight requirements. We did hear from NASCAR Cup Series Managing Director Brad Moran about this. Let's hear what he had to say.
Yeah, so unfortunately, when we were running the 48 through, it didn't pass the minimum weight specs. So we pulled the car off to the side and we allowed them to fuel it, which they already did. We let them fuel it again. We let them run the pumps to make sure all the pickup boxes were full. We give the teams every opportunity to try to meet a minimum weight. We also have them plug in the water and run the water through the system to make sure they're full of water. And then we rescaled it. It still didn't meet the weight. We backed it off and we run it across one more time just to confirm the weights were accurate. And unfortunately, they did not meet the minimum weight. They are allowed a 0.5% of a weight break, which is about 17 pounds, give or take. That is what they're allowed, and it was more than that.
I mean, that's a pretty good explanation right there. Alex Bowman was in the round of 8 before that disqualification. Joey Logano was not. And now, because he's been disqualified, Alex falls out of that round of 8 and Joey is in. But I think there's going to be something that a lot of people key to, and that was an incident that happened with Alex Bowman during the race when he hit those turtles in a chicane. The car completely launched. Alex Bowman he said, the biggest hit he's ever taken. This is what he had to say after the race before he found out about the disqualification.
Yeah, I mean, I'm about winning the grandstands from the turtles in the front straightaway chicane. So I hit the ground the hardest I've ever hit anything in my life. And I didn't even crash. It was pretty wild. But yeah, that was the closest call. Glad nothing broke there.
See, glad nothing broke there. So we'll have to see if this isn't like it plays into Rick Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports' decision whether or not they're going to appeal or not. This is what Hendrick Motorsports did tweet out last night. They said, we are working to understand the issue and we'll make a decision Monday about whether to submit an appeal. So as right now, as this show is coming on, we have not yet heard whether or not they're going to appeal. So we're probably going to find out very soon. And they said Monday. And Brad Moran said this will have to be expedited, of course, because we are headed this weekend to the round of 8. And because it has so many playoff implications, this has to be done and it has to be done quickly. Speaking of quickly, that would be Kyle Larson. And he had one fast number 5 yesterday at the Roval. He went to his 6th win of the season, his 2nd in the playoffs, dominating once again, 62 laps. Here is what Larson said when he climbed from the car.
Yeah, no, it's really, it's the first time in my playoff career I've not been like close to the cut line. So it was good to kind of have a little bit stress-free of a weekend. And I think the first time I've been here without crashing, maybe besides the other time we won.
Yeah, I'm worried about Kyle Larson right there because stress-free, I heard him in a post-race interview where he said, quote unquote, it was really just a boring day for us, which of course is tongue-in-cheek, but he did go out and dominate that race. And now we head to a place where he's a 3-time winner, Las Vegas. He's also won at Martinsville. He's also won at Homestead. And so I think that this 5 team, hard not to put your money on the 5 team. Maybe Erica can tell us what we should do on Thursday. So we did have some playoff issues. Again, every single week, it seems to be one thing or another for these playoff guys. There's Alex Bowman. We talked about that, the issues that he had. Tyler Reddick, I bet you he was just happy to get out of the Roval yesterday. He had contact with Denny Hamlin, had contact with the 31 a little bit later. There you got Chase Briscoe. He had issues, a right rear. Then, I mean, one thing after another. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Just guys turning around left and right. Daniel Suarez ultimately would end his day when he had some brake issues. There he is right there. And so the guys who did not advance, let me try to find them right now. That would be Daniel Suarez did not advance, Austin Cindric, Chase Briscoe, and Alex Bowman for now, depending on if and when Hendrick Motorsports appeals and if they win that appeal. Great day for Cup racing. It was also a great day for Xfinity Series racing. What an ending to this event. Sam Mayer going out there and getting the victory. But the way that it went down towards the end of this race was just heartbreaking for Parker Kligerman. So he doesn't take the white flag before the caution comes out. He was like this close to making that happen. Look at this right here. The caution light came on inches before Parker Kligerman crossed the start finish line. Inches. I thought for sure he had taken the white flag. And I know that there were plenty of people in his pit box that thought that as well. But of course, then that sets up an overtime finish. Sam Mayer was able to take the lead in that overtime finish. He drives on, he advances. Parker Kligerman does not advance. What a weekend, right? Because you think about Sam Mayer coming off the penalty last week and probably a lot of stuff going on leading up to the Roval race. But congratulations to Sam Mayer and to that entire team for sure. So our good friend Parker Kligerman joining us right now here on NASCAR Daily. I have to give you a lot of credit. I think that when you climbed from that car this weekend on Saturday and you did that interview, I just, the way that you were so honest and relatable and just laid it all out there, Parker, I think I have to applaud you. How do you even encompass what that moment was like for you?
I think you said it, a lot of emotions. I just let it kind of talk in the moment. And that, for me, I didn't really, I just sort of let what I was feeling come out. And I think I'd done those interviews, as I said, from the other side. And I kind of felt what those drivers are feeling, right? And I kind of felt like I felt that. But in that moment, there's so many things going through your mind. You're angry, you're sad, you're disappointed. You feel like you had done this big thing and then it was taken away in some respects, right? You've been through the emotion, the high of, hey, I did it. We got it done. Let's go. And then there's the other side of, oh no, we didn't.
Yeah.
And now I've got to refocus and go do a restart and get back in the game. And then it's taken away. And so it's just raw, right? And I really appreciate all the people that have reached out. So many legends of the sport have reached out, which was so flattering. And so many people stopped me at the track yesterday that I was there, and just a lot of people gave me hugs. Some people were like, "Hey, it sounds like a funeral," and I was like, "Well, I didn't pass away, but it felt like I put everything on the line, and we did everything we should have, and everyone at Big Machine Racing rose up. Our pit crew had the best stop of their life, basically, with us. That last stop, that was probably the best 12 laps I've ever driven in my entire life. It was one of the most incredible 12 laps I've ever experienced in terms of intensity and racing some of the best in the world and beating them. And so it was just the highs of highs and the lows of lows, but that's racing. That's why we love it. That's sports. I'm very flattered that so many people felt that journey and felt and came along with that journey with me. And were so kind and gracious in their comments. But yeah, it was definitely one of the tougher interviews I've ever done in my life.
Thank you for being so vulnerable and allowing us to share that moment with you. And thank you for being so badass on the racetrack in those closing laps and let us share that moment with you as well. It was the range of emotion for all of us that were watching you as well. So we appreciate that.
Thank you, Shannon. It means a lot. And, I said it before, but it's been so flattering and just an incredible feeling to have so much support from the sport and from the fans and from legends of the sport who've come and talked to me and reached out, and so many people called me, and I really, really, truly appreciate it. Because I think sometimes when you do something like this, as long as I have, you kind of wonder at times, well, do I even matter to this deal? Does anyone care I'm here? And then you just go through something like this and you see the outpouring support that has meant the world. And I'm a kid who saw this sport on TV when I was 9 years old, and all I wanted to do was become a professional race car driver, and I've gotten to do that for over 15 years. And it's been the most beautiful, amazing journey I could ever have imagined. Not as successful as I hope, but I, as I said before, results don't define me. And just having been here and had the opportunity to be in this position has been the most amazing thing in the world. So thank you. And thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
This is a cool show. I love what you guys are doing. I've been watching the NASCAR Dailies. So I'm a fan. I'm a viewer. Keep it up. I love it.
We're going to put a little drop there, right there. We'll kind of drop it everywhere. Go get you a W, dude. And thanks again.
Appreciate it, Shannon. Thank you.
Okay, before we head out here on this Monday, best day ever, BDE on Mondays. And once again, I'm going to give it to myself. And that's because I went to the racetrack yesterday. I went as a fan at the Roval. I took pictures with as many people as I possibly could. There's my producer, Austin, right there. A little Andy Petrie action. David Reagan, you saw him as well. Bobby P right there. He watches every day. Thank you, Bob. And so I made sure I took pictures with everybody that I ran into. And I had so much fun yesterday. It was such a beautiful day. There's Mamba. Such a beautiful day out there at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So thanks Marcus Smith and Greg and everybody from the track. It was such a great day, such a fun time. Got to see Carl Edwards, Ricky Rudd. They were out there doing some of the Hall of Fame stuff. We'll show you that tomorrow in Social Garage. But it was absolutely a day. Best day ever on a Sunday at the Roval. We'll see you tomorrow, everyone.
NASCAR Daily with Shannon Spake.